Hello and welcome to the big picture. In the last 12 years of its existence as a separate state, Jharkhand has witnessed 8 governments, 2 spells of president's rule, a chief minister who lasted just 9 days, another chief minister who could not even win the by-election he contested. To add to the dubiousness of these distinctions was an independent MLA who became a chief minister, lasted for nearly 2 years, only to end up in jail charged with a massive corruption charge of nearly rupees 4,000 crores, of which the trial is still on. The new state, which was carved out of Bihar in 2000, along with Chhattisgarh and Uttarakhand, has been the most politically unstable state ever since. The high expectations of the people of the state with a high tribal population of over 27% has been repeatedly betrayed by the various parties and combinations which have been in power for the last 12 years. The hugely mineral-rich state has been exploited for all the wrong purposes, even as the tribal population continues to remain in abject poverty in some areas. Why has Jharkhand, which was seen as a dream come true for the people of the state, end up the way it has? What are the reasons behind this political instability? How have the various political parties as well as the natural resource greedy corporates and businessmen contributed to it? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel for the people of Jharkhand? We will discuss all this today, even as the state once again is poised to go under President's rule, even as we talk here for the third time in last 12 years. To discuss this, I have with me Dr. Ajay Kumar of the Jharkhand Vikas Morcha Prajatantrik, Uttam Sengupta, Deputy Editor, Outlook Magazine, Xavier on the phone line from Ranchi, who is the spokesperson of the Jharkhand Mines Area Coordinating Committee. Welcome to all of you. First, let me go to Dr. Ajay Kumar. Dr. Ajay Kumar, you are a new entrant to politics. You have been a police officer. You have worked with some of the corporates also. And then now, for the first time, you got elected to the parliament, to the Lok Sabha. You as a new MP and belonging to a party which is a fledgling party, which is also made some impact, you think it has been the political parties which has been responsible for this instability?
Yeah, Mr. Nikam, excuse me. One is that the political parties are definitely responsible because there has been an unholy nexus between the corrupt political class, the corrupt bureaucrats and the corrupt companies to continuously, manipulate the politics of Jharkhand.
Yes. And
so we are definitely guilty.
Okay. No, but see, you belong to why is it that every few months or every couple of years or even less than that, these kind of combinations which rule the state, are these combinations inherently unstable combinations, inherently ideologically different, and they just come together for a brief purpose, with the wrong purposes in mind?
No, one of the reasons is because the number of seats are less, but then in Himachal also the number of seats are less, but they're much more stable. But the inability for a single strong central group of or central party to get support from others. So
yes.
So you have JMM with 18, you have BJP with 18. We fought the elections for 25 seats and we got 11.
Yes.
So small number of seats, so you have to cobble up a coalition. And the interesting part is that there is lot of money exchanged, for formation of government or dissolution of government by business people.
Yes.
So that they can put their people as ministers and chief minister, and so that they can continue to rob the state. So actually speaking, the bringing the government together, bringing down the government is with a huge amount of money being transacted is done by by the mining lobby, by the different lobbies existing in the state.
Okay, Dr. Ajay Kumar, you have made some very very interesting points and very shocking actually. It's coming from an MP from the state, the kind of nexus you're talking about, the kind of money which is involved. Please stay on, I'll come back to you, Uttam. This is, people talk about it, but coming from an MP who belongs to that state, who belongs to a political party which can be in power anytime, now or in the near future.
I think
isn't this a shocking state of affairs?
Well, I am extremely happy, that Dr. Ajay Kumar has been so candid.
Yes.
I mean, this is worst kept secret in Jharkhand, that money, has been playing a role. But, if you look at it, there are three small states which were created, together.
Absolutely.
Uttaranchal as well as Chhattisgarh along with Jharkhand.
Right.
Now, the other two states have been far more, stable.
But they have been very stable, actually.
Yeah, somehow or the other, these two states, have drifted to a two-party system.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But if you look at Jharkhand, there are any number of small parties which have come up. And I think the crisis that we see, at the center, a similar crisis we are witnessing in Jharkhand.
Right.
And in Jharkhand, there is All Jharkhand Students Union, there is a Jharkhand party, there is Jharkhand Janadhikar party, and all kinds of small groups, which are not really differentiated by any ideology.
Right.
There is no ideology that really distinguishes them from each other.
Right.
Even the party that Dr. Ajay Kumar represents.
Right. Is a breakaway group.
It's a breakaway group. Babulal Marandi was with the BJP at one time and so on. But if you look at the ideology, the policies, it's very nebulous.
Right.
Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, JVM or AJSU or other Jharkhand groups, they're all fighting for political space.
Right.
And their constituents are by and large the tribals. Now, one thing that occurs to me is that, tribals in Jharkhand, they have traditionally been politically very active.
Right.
The Jharkhand party itself, has a long history and so on. And because they have been politically very active, very aware and so on, partly because of Shibu Soren, partly because of the struggles, that they have gone through and so on, I believe, that has something to do with this fractured, kind of a party system and a fractured, mandate, which reflects, that party system and all that.
Right.
But over and above, I think, the tragedy of Jharkhand is a crisis of leadership. That, ever since 2000, the state, hasn't had a single leader, who can find a statewide acceptability.
Right.
Who can address, issues that the common man on the street, identifies with, who can really rouse, this younger people, to work, for the betterment of the state.
Right.
And this crisis of leadership and a fractured, polity and the party system, I think they together, have led us to this kind of a situation.
That's very interesting. Let me get Xavier Dias. Xavier Dias, you heard Uttam saying, can you hear me, Xavier Dias?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Xavier, you heard what Uttam Sengupta said, I hope, and also Dr. Ajay Kumar. Both of them, Dr. Ajay Kumar has been extremely frank and candid in the way he has analyzed what the problem is. You, as somebody who has been working there among the people, among the trade union and in the mines and things like that, mine workers and all. Do you agree with what Uttam Sengupta says, that there is the smaller political parties all fighting for same space, and the national party is unable to make the kind of impact which they have made in, say, Chhattisgarh and Uttarakhand, which was formed at the same time?
Yes. First and foremost, thank you for having me.
Yes.
And hi to Uttam and Ajay. I think Uttam has opened the subject, but we need to go a little deeper.
Please.
He has given the example of the three tribal states, and all the three tribal states have different political histories.
Right.
The Jharkhand part of it is one of the only areas where the people actually fought for what we all thought was a separate state, but was actually a struggle against colonialism. Now, I'm using the word colonialism in a modern sense and not in the sense of British colonialism.
You're talking of a neo-colonialism.
Well, we can use it. We can use the word neo-colonialism. But for the people of Jharkhand, especially the subalterns, the Adivasis and Dalits, government has only meant to them a killer,
Right.
an exploiter,
Right.
and somewhat an enemy.
Right.
Government has been part of the whole and exploitative machinery that they have seen for hundreds of years.
Right.
And that is how they react to government.
Right.
And in fact, today, if some of their leaders join the government,
Right.
they automatically disqualify themselves as part of the community.
Right.
For example, all the three people who have been chief ministers of Jharkhand,
Right.
they have actually been responsible for serious police firings on the people of Jharkhand.
Right.
Babulal Marandi,
Right.
his government was responsible for killing 9 Adivasis on 2nd of February 2001 in Koelkaro.
Right. So-
Shibu Soren also in December 2008 at a place called Katikund,
Right.
2 Adivasis were killed when they were protesting a mining site by
Right.
police. And of course Arjun Munda has his diary full. So the people of Jharkhand look towards their governments as killer governments. I'm sorry to use such strong words. The other point I want to make is that if you want to look at the nation state and the government,
Right.
today the line between the two is the state and the government. Actually, today what we have is a government industry in Jharkhand.
Okay.
And this is a phenomenon which is going to spread in India, where, the government has become, see the amount of money
Right.
that is being poured by the center and different institutions into the state. Thousands of crores
Yes.
of rupees.
Okay.
And the government is the manager of this money.
Okay, Xavier, please stay on. I'll come back to you. In fact, let me get Dr. Ajay Kumar again. Dr. Ajay Kumar, what actually Xavier Dias was now telling was something which you yourself made that point at the beginning about the nexus, the huge money involved because of which it's happening. And Xavier talks of a neo-colonialism, and the governments are being seen as exploiters now from what was earlier. Do you agree with that position? What Xavier takes?
If you look at it, Mr. Nikam, if you look at it from the ground level, you see one of the worrying things in Jharkhand is, there are different people they are the tribals and the Dalits, they are the people who have come from, who have settled, who have come from Bihar and the nearby places.
Right.
From UP, Bihar, Orissa, etc. So there's a lot of churning happening, and it's very difficult for the way political parties are catering to them to carry, and unfortunately, like Uttam correctly said, lack of leadership, the ability to carry everybody together.
Right.
And so I see it on the ground level, where the choices unfortunately are not but it is either or. I'm going to cater to this group of people. And my constituency is a good example because I got a huge tribal and tribal population.
Right.
I got a huge non-tribal population. I got a huge Muslim population. I got a huge Christian population. So it's also a fantastic group. But it's very important that we are able to look after all the people. Most of the leaders make this tact that I'm going to cater to this group of people and I'm going to totally ignore the rest because it makes my seat safe, etc., etc.
Right.
But what's troubling in Jharkhand is, at the senior government levels, and that should be what we should ask across in India. I don't know if Xavier will agree with me. Look, very simple things. I don't see many tribals in the top government positions like the IAS or the IPS or the Forest Service.
Okay.
Coming in from Jharkhand at all, so So the decision-making process, the advisor-making process, the people who control the economics, fundamentally don't come from the people, weaker section of the society.
Right. Okay.
So I sometimes grapple with this. No, so before I finish, so one of the reasons which is also now, which has got a very violent reaction from a lot of people is, but when I look at the tribals' representation in the government of India in the senior positions across in the state,
Yes.
the people from Jharkhand, Orissa tribals are nowhere seen. So is our policy of affirmative action, so that is one thing which is, and Mr. Xavier, I understand, if the group of officers who deal with the development of state have no co-relationship, no affiliation to the people, how are they going to look after their interests? The business, you don't see a single tribal business house. You don't see a single, so I'm not saying that, you create only tribal business houses or tribal offices, but there is a huge gap.
Okay.
There
okay,
is
Doctor.
no single, a large tribal entrepreneur.
Okay, Dr. Ajay, you have raised several issues which needs to be discussed, but before that we need to go into a short break now. Please keep watching. We'll come back very soon and continue this discussion. Welcome back. We are discussing what is happening in Jharkhand, the political instability which has gripped Jharkhand once again, and asking the question, why has it reached this stage? Uttam, both Ajay Kumar and Xavier Dias have made very significant points. I would like to take this discussion a little further. How do you see the role of the national party, the two national parties there? Why have they not been able to make the kind of impact which you yourself made a point as they made in say Chhattisgarh or Uttarakhand?
Absolutely.
Here is this, they have not been able to.
I agree.
The tribal population, as you pointed out earlier, have so many parties. The national parties don't seem to have had the confidence of the tribal population at all.
You see, I personally feel that both Xavier and Dr. Ajay Kumar are talking about symptoms.
Right.
Now, the fact is that when Jharkhand was created, it was believed that a small state, would be easily, governable, and it would lead to, good governance and so on. Now, the experience has been, very disappointing.
Right.
And 12 years we have had a large number of scams. IAS officers have been booked for graft. The DGP has been charged with misusing the Secret Service fund. The CAG has indicted the government a number of times.
Former Chief Minister
is in jail, and 4 ministers are in jail with him. It's a pathetic, situation. Now, when you look at the national parties, the two national parties, the Congress and the BJP, they don't have any standing. BJP, can't win, more than 18 seats in a house of 81. Congress can't win even 13. In fact, they won 14 and then they lost a by-election. So that is how their number came down to 13. But together, their strength in a house of 81
not even half.
is 30 or 31.
Is not even half.
Absolutely. So, you see, the problem is that neither BJP nor the Congress really has taken, the state very seriously or the democratic traditions very seriously. Jharkhand, for both these parties, I believe, it's a grazing ground. It's a grazing ground as long as the royalties come, as long as the industrialists go, as long as power is generated, as long as coal is moved. These parties are fine. And every time, they can get, milk the cash cow.
Right.
So that has been the approach. And as a result, neither Congress nor the BJP has a state level leader.
And the attitude of both the national parties whenever it comes to this kind of situations has been very cynical.
Absolutely.
How does BJP, for instance, can get along with somebody like Jharkhand Mukti Morcha?
You talked about 8 governments.
Right.
This state has had 8 governors. 8 governors in 12 years.
Right.
And what kind of governors? There was a governor, whose OSD and the private secretary were raided by the CBI.
Right.
Now, that is the kind of governors, that the Congress or the UPA or the NDA, are able to, put in the Raj Bhavan in Ranchi. So, what kind of governance are we talking about?
Xavier,
Yes.
you're there. Why? What has led you as Uttam was pointing out that you have indicated some of the symptoms. But what are the role of the national parties? As I asked Uttam also, how do you see the role of these two national parties there?
See, the role of the national parties reflect the racial and caste discrimination in this country.
Right.
I mean, Uttam said it, Jharkhand is a grazing ground for the national parties, if I heard him well.
Right.
And this is precisely, they use the Jharkhand leaders just when they need their numbers in parliament or when they need their numbers to form a government here. And credit to BJP, they have done it rather well. They have brought up these people, they have loaded them with wealth, they have alienated them from their own mass bases. The Congress couldn't do it.
Right.
And this is how, the other point I think which is not coming up in this discussion
Yes.
is the fact that you see Jharkhand does not have what in classical politics we call a local bourgeoisie.
Ah, okay.
And I mean the biggest bourgeoisie would have been the liquor barons.
Right.
So all the economic players in the state are extracting money from extracting goods and transferring the money out.
They're all from.
None of them cared for the building up of the state.
So they're all from outside and they don't have a stake. They don't have stakes there. That's
Correct.
what you're trying to say.
Whereas Chhattisgarh already had the rice barons, and I'm sure Uttaranchal had their own bourgeoisie.
Okay. Another thing, Dias, I want you to address is that how do you see the role of these tribal parties? Uttam was pointing out there's so many tribal parties, and with no ideological moorings as such, and actually not much difference between each other. But is it the ego clashes which have created this number of parties belonging to the tribal groups?
See, please remember one thing, that from the formation of this government or this state, almost every Adivasi MLA and MP were former members of what we call the Jharkhand movement.
Right.
They were what we call our Krantikari Sati, Andolan Ka Admi.
Right.
Yes. And they have been totally destroyed. Shibu Soren himself, I mean, he's an Andolan person.
Right.
And they have, by going into government, they have been totally alienated from the masses of this country.
Okay.
So, of the state.
Right.
So that has been also, that point should be noted.
No,
that there has been an attempt by the national parties and national politics
Right.
to actually character assassinate our leaders.
Okay, I mean that's a very tragic point which you have pointed out. Let me get Ajay Kumar, Dr. Ajay Kumar. You belong to a party which is led by a tribal leader who also happened to be the chief minister once. Do you see what do you see is the party of this? How do you see the differences which have cropped up within these parties? Do you agree with Xavier when he says that the national parties have, to some extent, I mean, we should not be sounding patronizing, but have they spoiled them?
Hello.
Yeah. Yes, Ajay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, I think, Mr. Nikam, I would tend to disagree with Xavier on one issue is, listen, at the end of the day, even if you're in a revolution, even if you're in the independence movement, somebody has to form a government at some time, So responsibility of people who are in the movement to form part of the government and deliver to the people the promises is what a normal political movement process is, because you cannot be perennially agitating and saying that state is bad. So
no, I don't think Xavier said No, I don't think Xavier said
that.
Okay,
sorry. So then that's what, maybe I misinterpreted it.
Yes, Xavier's point was that...
No, so sorry if I understood it wrong.
When they have come into the government, they have not been able to deliver. They are now seen by their own people as aliens, as exploiters.
Can I intervene?
One second, let him finish.
Yeah. So the first question is, from our perspective that we also represent, we actually had started, Mr. Marandi's major vote support came from significant urban population.
Right.
And slowly over the period of years, from the 4 years of formation, we have gone into and got significant, some reasonable impact with the tribal population and the minority population. And we believe that we occupy the space which a left of center party will occupy. So
right.
That's our positioning.
Right.
Now, and Xavier has given various reasons of police firing. Now, so let's look the police firing, and I'm not justifying the police firing at all. And all chief ministers have fired at there has been police firing not only at the tribal population. There have been police firings at the other non-tribal population also. So police firing is not the a label of whether a government is pro. Like a police firing in Delhi against the the Delhi gang rape doesn't mean that it is a police firing against, or the government is against the middle class.
Right.
So I think that interpretation is on the police officer at that time who takes a decision, because no chief minister is going to say that fire on his people. But obviously there's a decision which is taken at this time. The other issue is we led agitation of displaced persons recently, and one person died. And similarly, the other political parties also led different agitations. So
Doctor Ajay.
No, one second, Mr. Nikam, to color up.
Yes, please finish.
So to color an agitation which is pro-tribal or non-tribal would be extending it to. But I think the leaders across, I don't think somebody can spoil you till you don't want to get spoiled.
No, but my
If
question.
The leaders of Jharkhand, irrespective whether.
Yes, Dr. Ajay Kumar. Briefly, my question was that the tribal movement which happened, which created for the creation of a new state. Do you think it has gone haywire?
No, but simple. Nelson Mandela was a great leader, and Jacob Zuma has taken it down. Taken it a different path. So the question again is, somebody can spoil you only when you want to get spoiled. So to walk away from the responsibility that I'm not, if Mr. Shibu Soren says that I'm not responsible because somebody spoiled me,
I was just yesterday we were discussing.
It's not fair. It's
okay. Ajay, Xavier wants to say something quickly, Mr. Xavier.
Yes, you see, even making an Adivasi a minister,
right?
You have to see whether the bureaucrats are going to obey him or listen to him or not. And that is a very big problem.
Okay. Uttam, last words to you. You wanted to intervene about a point.
That is a big problem, Xavier. I agree with you.
Actually, you see, even before, Jharkhand was created, the state, had, towering tribal leaders. Jaipal Singh himself was a towering leader. Congress had leaders like Kartik Rao and so on. And I refuse to believe that tribals, don't have leaders, who can lead the state. So I am 100% sure that there are, people, who are there. But the problem is that no one is taking the initiative.
No, how much role do you see for what Ajay right at the beginning said about the way the corporates have moved in and the corporates' influence on government, on governance, on formation and dismissal of governments?
Before we come to that,
no, we have no time.
There is an important point.
Yes.
That the assembly has only 81 members.
Right.
Now, Himachal Pradesh, with a population of 68 lakh, has a strength of 68 members in the House. Jharkhand, which has a population of 3 crore 20 lakhs, has a strength of 81.
Okay.
So there also, that is also part of the reason why we have this situation.
You made a very interesting case right at the end of the program that the number of legislators in the Jharkhand Assembly needs to go up in proportion to the population. Maybe then it will not be very easy for corporates or those who have wrong notions in their mind to manipulate the governments as easily as they seem to be doing nowadays. Thanks to all my guests, Dr. Ajay Kumar, Xavier Dias and Uttam Sengupta. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue on the big picture, same time tomorrow.